to meet you.
Oh, yeah.
Have a cup of tea or have a cup of coffee?
I drink a lot of coffee. Tea is fine. Tea with lunch is fine. That's fine. Breakfast coffee, maybe a cup of coffee in the middle of the day.
Welcome to our tea house. Now today, I will introduce the Chinese traditional Gong Fu tea. Gong Fu means it will take a lot of the times to steep the tea, or we must have some skills to steep the tea. We call this Gong Fu. It is different Kung Fu.
And in this museum, and on the show, 1,150,000 relics, historic relics in this museum. From the prehistoric age to the Qing Dynasty, Han Dynasty, Sui, Tang, Song, Yuan, Ming, and Qing until the 1480s. Let's go.
As we all know, China has very long history, about 5,000 years. But during the long term in China, Tang Dynasty was the most prosperous time. And Tang Dynasty started from 618 to 907 AD.
In China, after we drink the tea, we usually don't throw out the tea leaves. We remain the tea leaves in the tea pot.
This land was located in the Shunling. Shunling is the tomb of the first empress Wu Zetian's mother. And also this land was guaranteed the first line in the orange, this line. And in, okay, that's all.
My name is Mary. My foreign name is Mary. So in order to be convenient for you to remember me.
Now we come to the prehistoric age. Prehistoric age from the 1,115,000 years ago to the 21st century BC.
This shape we call it smelling cup. We use it to smell the aroma of the tea.
Zhou Dynasty from 21st century BC until to the 581 BC. Also the Bearchim, very famous in the Zhou Dynasty. Bearchim is a very traditional musical instrument. You can see they are different size, different shape, also different tunes. The worker can strike the big one for very, very big sounds and use the stick for the small one, also the different sound. So for the emperor, for the dancing and the singing and dancing for the emperor when they are eating and drinking about the Bearchim.
That's a portrait of a Tang hunter, a hunter in Tang Dynasty with his hawk on his shoulder and his horn. So that's an imitation of rice paper. Most foreigners call this kind of paper rice paper, but actually it's never made of rice. Otherwise, when you're hungry, you can eat it. It's made of the tree bark of elm tree, and today we use the bamboo and the rice stalk. So I don't know why you call it a rice paper. And in China, we call it Xuan paper, Xuan. So Xuan was an ancient prefecture where this kind of paper was originally produced. So that's the reason why we call it Xuan paper, but I don't know why you call it a rice paper.
Tripod is utensil, one kind of utensil for the cooking, for the boiling meat.
I will use the boiling water to disinfect the teacups and warm the teapot. Warm outside and inside.
Also in the period later period of the Zhou dynasty. The tripod means power. Emperor have 9 tripod, means 9 power, also a superpower in the Zhou dynasty. Also, lots of the tripod for the utensil, cooking utensil, for the tinner, for the sacrificial, etc., all kinds of things.
The typical Tang beauty. Tang lady had a very special feature. They were very plump in body and face. So usually round face, double chins. And more plump will be more beautiful in Tang dynasty. Yeah.
And this chariot we also call the security chariot for the master, for the Emperor Qin Shi Huang. And the Emperor Qin Shi Huang was born in 259 BC, also died in 210 BC. After he died, because he died not in the Shanxi province, he died in the Henan province. After he died, his corpse was put into this chariot, carried to the Shanxi province, put into the tomb of the Emperor Qin Shi Huang.
In China, there are about 1,688 kinds of the tea. Many kinds, but all these kinds of the tea is divided into 3 parts: fermented tea, not fermented tea, and half fermented tea. Fermented means when we get the fresh tea leaves from the tree. First, we must dry air the tea leaves. If we only dry air the tea leaves, we call it not fermented, like the green tea and the jasmine tea. Now, after we dry air the tea leaves, we must put the tea leaves into a big wok and only stir the tea leaves with high temperature. We call it fermented.
It's a lady, but she wears a man's garment. Tang ladies' minds were quite opened, so ladies could go hunting, could play the polo game, and that kind of dress will be convenient for them to ride the horse.
Girls are very bigger, is a big one, also very tall. The tallest is 1.97 meters. The lowest is 1.78 meters. Also, they are very heavy. The heaviest is 300 kilograms. The lightest is 110 kilograms. About the warriors. About the in detail introduction, the warriors and the horses. Tomorrow we will go to the Terracotta Warriors and the Horses Museum. We will have a detailed introduction about that.
In tea ceremony, we usually don't drink the forced tea water but pour it out. Because in China ancient time, tea is made by hand. Not today, machine can do it, but it is a custom to pour the forced tea water out. We call it cleaning tea or washing tea.
Really?
So in the Tang Dynasty, now we can see a lot of beautiful halls, also porcelain and glazed porcelain.
And also you may notice Tang lady had a very natural feet. While foot biting was very popular in ancient China, which just started from Song Dynasty, right after Tang Dynasty. And if a lady who didn't bind her feet after Tang Dynasty, she cannot even get married. And they started to bind their feet at 5 years old until 12 years old. So in China, that's very cruel for the ancient ladies.
2,300 years ago, China made this.
In the Tang Dynasty, this kind of the bodyguard should be also be very famous in the Tang Dynasty.
And this man, he looks very strong with a sword in his hand. He's a royal bodyguard in Tang Dynasty.
Oolong tea belongs to the half fermented tea. Half fermented means we fermented the tea leaves for a short time, we call it half fermented tea. For a long time, we call it fermented tea. The black tea belongs to the fermented tea.
The capital of the Shanxi of the China moved to Beijing. Xi'an was now the capital of China. So this dynasty does a lot of culture, religious, and the economic thing, not political. In political, it's not very important. Like that, the culture, historic relics, that's the porcelain, celadon is very famous at that time, and handcraft.
There are 3 concubines on the painting. For these 2, it looks very young and the room is very heavy. One is watching the bird, the other one is catching the cicada. While this old concubine, she feels no hope, feels very sad. Actually, it's very competitive among the concubines. And also you may notice, Tang lady had very long sleeves. And it was said 3 major uses for the Tang lady's sleeves. And the first one, that's a pocket. And the second one, in order to be convenient to hide the lady's teeth. Do you know why? You know, it was not polite for ladies to expose their teeth to public. So whenever they smile or they drink a cup of tea, they use their long sleeves to do like this. Yeah. Even today, when you see some shy Chinese lady, when they smile, they do like this. They don't open their mouth in order to hide their teeth.
In China, we call this ceremony the phoenix nodding. It is like the head of the phoenix, and the water like the nodding. We call it phoenix nodding. And then pour the water on the teapot to get the same temperature outside and inside the teapot. Now the tea water will taste better.
The big red goods pagoda comes from the Tang Dynasty. It's 648 AD, and that in the Chinese is the Tang Dynasty.
This is a scarlet bird. In ancient China, we have 4 gods of 4 directions. And this is the god of the southern direction. That's a scarlet bird. And the god of the northern part was a turtle and a snake. The god of the western part was a white tiger. And the god of the eastern part was a green dragon. So that's 4 gods.
This temple we call the Dazhen Temple. And under Tang Zhongzong, the 3rd emperor of the Tang Dynasty, when he was very young, his mother died, so he felt very sorrow. In order to memory his mother, he ordered built this temple to memory his mother. Because in the old time, the failure is a very important duty for a son. Also, the Tang Zhongzui is a very filial son. So this temple was to built in 648 AD.
We must serve the tea from my left to the right. So please.
Though in Tang Dynasty, ladies could not expose their teeth to public, but they could wear a little cleavage the costume. You can see the color of their costume looks very lower than the ladies in other dynasty. So in that case, makes the lady more sexy than other dynasty. Okay.
This pagoda was to be built in 645 and Xuanzang. Because this temple is the Buddhism temple, 645 AD, Xuanzang came here from India and spent 17 years stayed in India, translated a lot of scriptures about Buddhism. And he stayed here for 12 years, translated 1,335 years. Because it's enough knowledge, so the emperor was very satisfied and ordered this pagoda to be built to store the scriptures that Xuanzang came here from India. These scriptures were stored in this pagoda.
Tasting tea is divided into 3 steps: looking, smelling, and tasting. First, you must look at the color of the tea water, and then use the smelling cup to smell the aroma. At last, we can taste. And please smell the empty one. And taste. But when we taste the tea, we get the cup as this way.
Okay.
Sagamoni comes from India. He is a prince, crown prince of India, that Kapila. When he was 29 years old, he go out, leave the home to learn some knowledge about Buddhism. When he was 35 years old, he preached the Buddhism all over the world.
And this painting here was entitled A Night Service. And the first lady, she's the owner of the tomb. She's the princess of the time. And behind her, those are her palace maids. Now they are serving her to go to bed at night. You can see some hold the candle, the cup, the fan. So that's a night service. And in our history, this young princess was killed by her own grandmother at 17 years old.
Good. Very good.
Three times.
Now, after you finish the tea, I will serve some water to you. When you drink the water, you will feel sweet in your throat.
Okay.
Tasty.
Oops.
In the Buddhism, we have the Mahayana section and the Hinayana section. The 18 arhats is the highest position in the Hinayana section.
So have you ever heard about Madame Wu? W.
I think so.
She's the dragon lady. She's the only female emperor in our history. So when she can choose the power, she could, for example, she could have the male concubines and many toy boys. So it's unusual for ladies to do like that. Especially her granddaughter, this lady. She had spread a lot of scandals about her grandmother on that. So her grandmother got very angry and had her killed. She was hung on a piece of silk. So she died of gossip.
In China, the Chinese people always think, they believe the Buddhism, when the people died, they will go to another world. And when the people's bodies died, the God of guidance, also the Amitabha Buddha, will guide people go to the heaven. In another world, people will continue their new life.
My name is Chinese name is Liu Jing.
Liu Jing.
Jing means quiet.
Good.
Liu Jing.
Yeah, Jing means quiet. My English name is quiet.
I like
Quiet.
this name.
Quiet.
Yes.
Quiet.
Jing means quiet.
Quiet.
Silent.
Yeah,
Quiet.
silent. And Kashmir, city of the Kashmir, is my hometown.
And this painting here was entitled The Courtiers and the Foreign Invoice, which shows the international communication in Tang Dynasty. And as we all know, Xi'an was the starting point of the Silk Road in Tang Dynasty. So many foreigners came to visit China. They even settled down around Xi'an city in Tang Dynasty.
Just now I have said have two sections. One is the Mahayana section, the other is the Hinayana section. And the Mahayana section is the vegetarians, but the Hinayana section is non-vegetarians. One day the monks lived in the Hinayana section. He worried about no meat to eat. At that time, and so he looked up at the sky and said, maybe the Buddhist will give me some meat to eat. At that time, a flock of goose flying over this temple. And when he finished this sentence, the head goose dropped and died. So these monks was very surprised. Maybe this is the Buddhism idea to give this head goose for them to have some meat to eat. At that time, and these monks in the Hinayana section temple become the vegetarians. And in order to commemorate that head goose, they built the very big pagoda at the place of the goose died, also named that Wild Goose Pagoda.
So in Tang Dynasty, we had a very interesting scene. The scene goes like this: Who wears has hat, and the Han wears whose hat. So who means the minority nationalities and the foreigners in Chinese, while the Han means the majority nationality. So people exchange their hats in order to exchange their ideas, to make friends.
bronze statue of Sagamore. But this statue is not original, and this statue was to be built in last year.
She's a lady, she wears a man's garment. And these are the typical Tang beauties. And now we can tell three major features for the Tang ladies. One is double chins, and the second one is sexy costume, and unique shoes. You can see shoes is unique. Okay.
So this is the tea house in Xi'an. This is some Coca-Cola tables at the temple in Xi'an.
Chairman Mao had ordered all the learned people should go to the countryside, should be really educated. So when the learned people, especially the artists, went to the countryside, they teach the farmer how to paint, while the farmer teach them how to work in the field. So after 1970s, after the Cultural Revolution in China, this kind of painting started.